Okay, so what we need to do is learn to organize ourselves in proper military fashion when taking to the streets and protesting because these communist punks have made it obvious that they're going to make things difficult for everybody. And it's a matter of safety and and principle. Yeah. So I know there's a lot of good veterans that are Trump supporters, uh, good uh, patriots that are populists and conservatives that are out there trying to voice their opinion, and these left wing uh, commie types come in and provoke and attack. And so what I'm calling for is for Trump supporters and the veterans uh, within in the ranks there at the protests is for them to kind of take charge and organize this band of regulars into some kind of military order. What you guys need to organize yourselves, and we need to organize ourselves in proper military fashion when we are confronting or are going to be confronted by these communists. And I don't think we should call them anti-fascists. That's their name that they call themselves. They think they're anti-fascist, but they're not. They're not anti-fascist. They're communists, and that's something that we should not call them. Black bloc, anti-fascist. No, they're not. They are communists. Okay. So what I mean, very basically, when you organize yourselves in a military fashion like that, well, first of all, what am calling for is not the weaponization of protesters. I'm not calling for people to bring weapons to the protests. Yeah, not guns, not sticks, not knives, nothing. Just maybe some signs and your cell phone, basically. Um, but organization is important, and the way that the body of protesters moves and organizes itself and communicates is important. So you can have, first of all, what you want to do is identify the strongest guys in the group, right? And you want to quickly create a rank system. So someone is going to be the commander, someone's going to be the first sergeant, then we're going to have, staff sergeant, and then we're going to have squad leaders or platoon leaders and squad leaders, depending on how big the group is, right? And you quickly try to come up with a rank system, which you probably should already have planned out for different group sizes by the time before you get there. And then so you pick your leadership, and no, you don't do this necessarily through the vote, right? It doesn't turn into an act of democracy, right? It's an act of hierarchy. People obviously know who the biggest and strongest and most experienced military type veterans are in the group. Okay, so you identify those guys, right? And then you form you fall in formation in military fashion, and you maybe even march around a little bit to show off that you're organized. That's a good idea. But then there's the phalanx, like the Greeks, how the hoplites used to organize themselves. And they used to put the strongest, youngest, toughest, meanest dudes in the very front. And then behind them were kind of the run-of-the-mill guys. And in the very back, they had the oldest and most experienced men. And you can look up different strategies. And tactics. I'm not going to go through everything here, but I am going to touch on some issues to get you to start thinking about organizing yourself in proper military fashion. And I just mean a wall of flesh, right? Because we're not going to cover our faces and carry shields and weapons. I mean, we can do, but look, that's for combat and war. But this is a type of protest, and what we need to do is get the young men there to organize themselves in a fashion that allows us to protect the older and the elderly and the young. So that also means that the everybody has to be organized, right? The way you can't let Antifa split you guys up and then isolate the weak and attack them, because they'll do that. And I think this is something that we should actually start working on together with different groups that are planning to organize, and we should start sharing these type of ideas and getting them out there. So please like and share my video. I usually don't ask for things like that, and discuss it with people you know. And if you know anybody that absolutely has to go to one of these protests, see what they can do to implement any level of organization that would help keep people safe at these protests. Also, another thing that I want to mention is that we should have radio communications between different groups, and also radio communication with the local police there. So that's something that could be arranged ahead of time, and I think that would be very easily done. So, okay, just a few ideas I had to put out there, and thanks for listening.